And the owner of the house took a sword and he stood by the gate. So these people came to kill the Jews. And, Mister, we have nothing against you, you're Muslim. Stay in the side. We'd like only to get the Jews there. You know what did he tell them?
IslamNet is raising funds to establish a masjid and community centre in Norway, and they urgently need your support. This donation will be a sadaqah jariyah for you, because every person that comes a step closer to Allah through your donation, you will inshallah be reaping the reward. Click the link and donate what you can.
The Jews and the Christians, brothers and sisters, have lived in Islamic empires, under Islamic rule, in Islamic countries for decades. It was the Muslims, when Saladin al-Ayyubi took over Jerusalem, that when he saw the hostility that the Crusaders had towards the Jews, that so much so they would throw garbage in their places of worship, and so much so that there were no Jews in those holy cities. It was Saladin al-Ayyubi that brought 80 Jewish families or more to those lands to coexist with the Muslims. We saw that in Spain, under, subhanAllah, when Ferdinand and Isabel committed an actual massacre, should we call it an ethnic cleansing, or, got rid of the Muslims and the Jews and put them through tortures that nobody ever did. The video we're going to watch, brothers and sisters, is another testimony amongst many, many, many testimonies, even of that unholy Shimoli, the scumbag. As you know, he himself, even in videos, have admitted how much he believes he owes to the Muslims, subhanAllah, who saved many, many people who were being persecuted, the Jewish people. This is another testimony from this Jewish guy. Let's watch it for ourselves, inshallah.
This fact can be denied? La samahallah. God forbid. Wonderful. I'll tell a story from my family. My mother was not married yet, she was a child. And she told me that they were all get scared to the second floor, and the owner of the house took a sword and he stood by the gate. So these people came to kill the Jews. And, Mister, we have nothing against you, you're Muslim. Stay in the side. We'd like only to get the Jews there. You know what did he tell them? On my dead body. You have to kill me first, then you kill the Jews. He didn't have anything to lose. He could have told them, go inside, kill them. I don't care. You know what he told them? These are my children. These are my children. I asked my mother, he said that? She, yeah, he didn't allow them. He stood with a sword that you have to kill me first. Because there's a tradition by the Muslims. If someone is your guest, the Muslim would give his life for you. That was a Jewish life with the Muslims. That's the Zionists would like to erase. It says, no, there was no such thing. But this fact can be ignored? Is this fact can be denied? La samahallah. God forbid. Wonderful.
So, brothers and sisters, what you heard there was of this Jewish man who was claiming that his mother, when she was a child, and they were on the run because of, what was happening in Europe towards the Jews. And this anti-Semitism actually it comes from the Crusaders, from Christians, because if you look at it, brothers and sisters, anti-Semitism and the hatred of Jewish people, it doesn't come from Muslims. It comes from actually the Christians, because they believe that it was the Jews that killed their God, which was Jesus. So they have this hostility and hatred towards them since that time. Then they have many times, and I'm going to show you guys historical evidences, brothers and sisters, where many times, subhanAllah, they came. Now it shows you, brothers and sisters, subhanAllah, that Muslim man was ready to put his life on the line for that family. And this is what Islam teaches us. Contrary to the far right and these absolute bigots who are trying to portray as if I had a Jewish family in my house, that my religion teaches me to say, oh, they are, we don't, yeah, go ahead and kill them. It is the contrary. You know why? Because the Prophet's wives was an ethnic Jew. So subhanAllah, brothers and sisters, to us, we know that subhanAllah, we share so much beliefs with the Prophets and many other things with the people of the book, subhanAllah. So I'm going to read with you guys, brothers and sisters, just a couple of examples in history when the Christians and the Jews lived in Muslim lands, and these are the things they had to say. And I asked this question to all the bigots, Douglas Murray to scumbag, this intellectual, fraud intellectual midget, Tommy Robinson, to all of them. Have you guys ever lived under the Islamic Caliphate? Never. You have never lived. So let's go to the people who lived under Islamic rule and let's see what they had to say, because you guys have never lived under Islamic rule, so you can't say nothing about it. Let's look at those who genuinely lived under those rules and let's see what they had to say. So this was a letter sent to by Chief Rabbi of Edirne. Yes? His name was Isaac Sarfati. Okay, and this was a letter to persecuted Jews living in Central Europe. This is what he had to say. Here in the land of the Turks, we have nothing to complain of. We possess great fortune. Much gold and silver are in our hands. We are not oppressed with heavy taxes, and our commerce is free and unhindered. Rich are the fruits of the earth. Everything is cheap, and every one of us lives in peace and freedom. Here the Jew is not compelled to wear a yellow hat as a badge of shame. as in the case of Germany, where even wealth and great fortune are a curse for a Jew, because he therewith arouses jealousy among the Christians, and they devise all kinds of slander against him to rob him of his gold. Arise, my brothers, I think it says, gird up your loins, collect your forces, and come to us. Here you will be free of your enemies, and here you will find rest. Yes, this was a letter being written. Let's go to Michael the Elder, the Jacobite patriarch of Antioch in the 12th century, wrote in the favor of the Muslims. Here's what he had to say after condemning the tyranny of the Christian Byzantines, who were oppressing certain denominations, of Christianity. For where the cities submitted to the Arabs, they assigned to each denomination the churches which they found it to be a possession of. And at that time, the great churches of Emesa and that of Haran had been taken away from us by the Byzantines. SubhanAllah, it was taken off by their own Christians and the Muslims gave it back to them. Nevertheless, it was no slight advantage for us to be delivered from the cruelty of the Romans, i.e. the Byzantines, their wickedness, their wrath and cruelness against us, and to find ourselves at peace. They are saying that their own Christian brethren was oppressing them so much so the Muslims came and saved them. Jews felt equally safe in Jerusalem, as confirmed by a 9th century Jewish source, Sefer Pitron Torah. The people in whose hands the temple is today, namely the Muslims, have made it into a choice. Listen carefully, a choice, excellent and honorable places of worship. They say, let us worship the one God who created the heavens and the earth, to whom the creatures belong, until the coming of the Messiah, and on that day the true worship will be renowned and will be acceptable before God. In 869, Patriarch Theodosius of Jerusalem wrote, the Saracens were known as the Muslims, show us great goodwill. They allow us to build our churches and to observe our own customs without hindrance. Bernard the Wise, a pilgrim monk, visited Egypt and Palestine in the reign of Khalif al-Mu'taz, 866-9. He stated that the Christians and the pagans, i.e. the Muslims, they used to call the Muslims the pagans, have this kind of peace between them, that if I was to go on a journey, and on the way my camel or my donkey, which bore my poor luggage, was to die or be injured, and I was to abandon all my goods without any guardian and go to the city for another pack of animal, when I came back I would find all my property uninjured. Such is the peace. Now I can give more and more, brothers and sisters. So Nestorian John Bar Penkaya in 690 expressed fascinating sentiments regarding the reign of Muawiyah. He said what? That the peace throughout the world was such that we have never heard, either from our fathers or from our grandparents, or even that there had ever been like it. Now, this can go on, guys. The point I'm saying is the following. Muslims have never had hostility or anti-Semitism towards the Jews, or even Christians for that matter. They lived under Islamic rulership, paying the jizya, and their lives were protected so much so the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, a dhimmi who lives under Islamic rule, if anyone was to harm them, they will not smell the fragrance of paradise. The reason I'm sharing this, brothers and sisters, is to show you guys, subhanAllah, that anybody that dares to come and say that Muslims have this innate belief in their religion, let me be honest, I've come to Islam for 11 years. I have never, ever been taught that the Christians and the Muslims, that we have to hunt them down, and no such thing has ever been taught to me in any of my teachers in private gatherings, let alone public. They have never been taught to us. So I know it's a big fat lie when these fake individuals come out and say, oh yeah, when I was a child. So as a child, you're can you imagine? Wallahi, I have never even heard of the capital punishment of apostates. Okay? So these lies, when these cowards come and say, oh yeah, when I was a little child, when I was 5 years old, they were teaching me it's absolute lies. And this man is a witness to that. And the people who are watching this know this, subhanAllah, brothers and sisters. So I wanted to share this, inshallah, reaction video with you guys of this Jewish man, how his family, his mum was saved, brothers and sisters, by Muslim. And no, don't forget, in France, there is a specific mosque where Muslims gave fake identities of the Jews who were running away from Nazi Germany, brothers and sisters, gave them fake identities so they were seen as Muslims, so they were not harmed or killed. That's all I want to say, brothers and sisters. May Allah bless and preserve you guys, inshallah. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Till next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever builds a masjid for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will build for him a similar house in Jannah. On that day where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that our books will be given and every little atom weight of good deed you've done will be there. And imagine you see a mountain and you're like, what a lucky person, which righteous person? And Allah says, this is for you. For me? Yes. What did I do? You allowed people to pray. You built a masjid. I never had the money to build a masjid, oh Allah. You helped, you gave towards it, and Allah gives you the reward of as if you've built it. Donate now, guys, and do not delay. And share the video for extra rewards.